If you read The Health Ranger, that's Mike Adams
Go ahead.
has brought out some secret files. He stumbled on some secret files about the creation of Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin is supposed to have been created by a Japanese technological geek called Satoshi Nakamoto. But then it's boiling down to the fact that it's an NSA CIA project, and the code on which Bitcoin is modeled was actually stipulated 20 years ago in the secret files that Mike Adams has stumbled upon. And it was a CIA NSA project to eliminate fiat currencies, to stabilize the money of the world, and then again for control and manipulation and control of the peoples of the world. And the idea was to bring to see how this project will work out, will pan out, and with the intention that when they see the effectiveness of Bitcoin, and then they will kill it and then bring centralized government controlled cryptocurrencies. But now there is no way for them again, because the populations of the world, the people have become so creative. Bitcoin has gone beyond their creation, and then attempts to kill it are failing, and they are failing hugely. And other cryptocurrencies have cropped up, which are doing well too. So you see, it's really a funny situation to see that they introduce something just to see how it will work out, so that they learn something from it, and then they kill it, and then bring out their own real system for manipulation and control. So whoever thought that Bitcoin was a CIA project or an NSA project? And the code for Bitcoin, everything that Bitcoin is doing today was stipulated 20 years ago in the secret files. And Bitcoin has been around only for about 10 years. So you see.
Well, Charles, actually, it's all a manipulation. And yes, anything that becomes popular, like Wall Street, it's all, the only reason that Bitcoin exists is because the feds let it exist. If they don't want it there, it won't exist. And so again, yeah, it's their test run, but at the same time, it doesn't matter how it comes out. In World War II, you had all these different countries of the world at war. Well, the elites, the reptilians, they didn't care who won or lost. They'll deal with it because, again, they step in and take over anyhow. So the so-called value of anything really has no value. And where is everybody chasing things to, thinking that it has value? No, it's all manipulation. It's just getting people to agree to something that they can be controlled by. And they keep agreeing to it. And that's where people chase money. So it doesn't matter if it's Bitcoin, it doesn't matter if it's the printed dollar or these ideas. They're all the same ideas. They're all exactly the same. And so again, yeah, what Mike has stumbled on is nothing new, and it's not 20 years old. It's a million years old. It's millions of years old. This is what the reptilians brought here. They had all this stuff already, and the technology of the currencies, of the cyberspace currencies, the cyber currencies, etc. Well, that just is going to be more imprisonment for everybody because, again, that's what everybody's chasing. So whatever is the most popular is engineered by the world controllers. That's the only way. So they just use this guy as an idea that, oh, he created it and he's independent of the governments and all that. And so he's a good guy. He created something good. Whatever it's seen, it's all baloney. It's just like Mark Zuckerberg that created Facebook. That's all CIA too. Well, fine, I don't care. I still use it. And even though I know that, I don't really care. It's worked. It's gotten to you and others, that aspect of it. Again, there's two sides of the coin. But all these things that become popular, they're all ignited, just like the personalities and the movie stars and the singers and whatever. They're all controlled by the same source. We know that. So in the meantime, we take what we can and we utilize it for some kind of benefit. But we don't need to chase it and think that it's something that it's not. That's a choice too. That becomes the difference. So had a conversation with some people I know that are into aquaponics and that a while back. And I could tell that they were totally different because now they were into Bitcoin and the MLM, multi-level marketing of it. And they were so excited about chasing the money of it. I could tell. And so I'd been there before too, and it's like I'm not interested in that anymore. The thing is chasing and chasing and chasing. It's kind of like the stock market. You always got to watch the price of stocks every day. They go up, they go down, and etc. It's so boring. I'd rather be doing this in the meantime. So in the meantime, while they're chasing money, I'm presenting something real to the world because we only have so much time. And yeah, they want the cyberspace currencies to take over. It's just another ploy. Because again, then they can keep an eye on everything. Everything is watching people, manipulating their lives. And the bigger picture is making sure that they come back into future embodiments more unconscious than they are now. That's very real because people are waking up by the fact of what we're doing. And they want to make sure they don't wake up, that they become more dumbed down. So whatever we can do to promote this, I would say this is number one. Everything else, good luck, because it really goes nowhere. But at the same time, yes, have fun doing it. Have Bitcoins, do whatever. You know, we all need to survive with the system. But there is a bigger picture because the systems, they're all going to self-implode. Because everything is cause and effect. You can't take a distortion. You know, it's like the old saying, two wrongs don't make a right. And the reality is you cannot continually create distortion and think it's going to come out better. All of this is distortion. We deal with it. Okay, we're not here to change it. I can't change it. It's too big. You know, the computer system, the internet of the world, it has its position like Skype here, but at the same time, huge detriment. And the thing is that it's all self-destructing because it is not a benefit. It's not that it's not a benefit, but cause and effect, by the very fact of what it's doing, it is destroying itself. And it's taking people with it that continually chase it and agree because that becomes their intent and that becomes their main interest. While when they start to recognize the isness, they can still work with this world and do whatever it is that makes sense. And then just like a stage 3 rocket, you let that stage go when you become more aware and see beyond it. At a certain point, you see that you don't need it. And I really see the universal community as to where we get to the point we don't need the world economy. This is very real. We can make this real here, and only certain people will see it. And you won't need any of the outside world. We'll be totally independent of it, but yet in the world presenting what we're doing. So again, let's see who steps up and takes the risk for that instead of just chasing Bitcoin and all these other things. But in the meantime, yes, we do utilize these things because we're still in the baby stages here. We're still the lemonade stand. But there is a big picture that will show up. So Kelsey's the little genius here with that. If there's something that can be done, Charles, but again, it's your choice how you want to do it. And yes, thank you for stepping up and doing all you've done for the Africans. I want to do a lot more. I want to do a lot more for the world. But, the world is resisting. Even the people, even the good people of the world are resisting, saying, no, we don't want it, Duane. We don't want what you have. We're fine with what we've got. See, again, I can't invade their free will. All I can do is present it. And if they say no, well, it's no. And that can be 10,000 years or 10 million, whatever. We'll see. We'll see who steps up. Yes, go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, Duane, I think I've understood what you've said. At one time, an idea was floated about creating our own coin which could be called Rebza. And I just want to share what I know about these coins. The trend now is for coins to be backed by a product in order for it to be viable, because Bitcoin is a purely speculative asset, which is the precursor of all coins, and people have developed a liking for it, and it's hard to change to other coins. Bitcoin is king, and for any coin to succeed, there needs to be mass adoption of it, and or else it would just be like what they call in crypto terminology, pump and dump coin. You see, one little movement on the exchange just sees the price crash, plummet. So I want to, if we have a coin, it will depend on how many new friends adopt this coin, or how well the idea can be sold to other to the general public. Why you should use the Rebza coin and all that. But then exchanges now, in order to list any coin, because when you create a coin, it needs to be listed. Well, there are some coins that have no product to back them, but they are listed. But and the price changes are very they are very minimal. Well, people have a reason to go to advertise such coins. They have some little backup project, or this is what we are doing about it, which is now like what pushes up the price of the coin. You see, some active something that is an immediate benefit for people, immediate in the material sense. That is what determines the listing of coins now on exchanges. And you find many coins that have been delisted on many exchanges, because the national governments now in the US and in Europe, they need to see the viability of a project and the coin that issues from it, in order for it to be listed. So I want just to throw in a word of caution that this should be well thought about, and uh, a project, or I don't know what, or a product that is needed by everyone, that could be in high demand, because here we're dealing with marketing, and that will be what will determine the viability and sustainability, long-term sustainability of any coin that we set out to create. Yeah, because it doesn't just suffice to get a group of blockchain specialists there to. There are so many of them to create a coin. We should look at the long picture. How would it be? What is the product that would sustain this coin? So that is just what I wanted to chip in.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I was waiting here and I wrote down a bunch of the ideas here. So it's already a done deal, Charles. You're just not seeing it yet. Okay. And first of all, what you related is according to the invented, agreed upon standards of what you see now with the world controllers. Okay. So this is my fun adventure, and that is that I've already decided it, and it will be so, but it's not going to be along the standards. It's going to be a lot better. And we have the best backing of everything. What's better than gold? We don't need gold. We got something more real, but you got to see it, you see? So again, we'll have real success with this, and it won't be from the cosmos, okay? So what you're seeing in the world is, no, I don't need to do any of that stuff that's on the world market. I don't need their agreement. I don't need anything from them, because everything that they're creating, all they're creating is failure. What you're seeing with Bitcoin and everything else, remember the old Confederate dollars? That's what you're seeing. They're already gone. The whole system's already debunked. What we're doing is real, and it will have real backing. You'll see, but you got to wait and see. But it's coming, and I'm going to do it. That's the fun part. But it ain't going to be agreeing to the world system, because that's all going into failure. It's already on failure. It's just not seen yet. It's just like everyone here on the earth. They're already gone. They just don't see it yet because of what they've decided. They've already decided they're old and gone and forgotten. They really have, but they just don't see it yet. That's part of the wake up too. Will they see it and wake up in time, or will they be gone like they already are? So again, there's more to it, Charles. Yeah, that's the fun part. And that's the challenge I get to do. I've decided to bring it out, just like the new presentation. You know, if I hadn't decided this at some point, you wouldn't be standing here. Where would you be? What would you be looking to? You see? But I took on the challenge to bring this out. And as real as it is, it's only going to get better. So this coin thing, it's going to be very interesting how it works. But it's going to have the best backing that most of the world won't even recognize. But it will work simply because it'll be more real than anything. Yeah. And so it's just like kids playing. We're just going to have the most fun. But we don't need the world system, you'll see. Or you won't. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm happy with this assurance that you'll have a very good backing. You know, we have the backing from the real side, and also a well thought out fiscal plan that people will buy into. That is just That was just my apprehension, which has been addressed. So it's okay.
No, it's all fine. So again, I see what's going on in the world. It's like a car. I see the cars running. Okay, they work good. But, just even the simplest thing to change your car to running on water. Whoa, that's a huge step, isn't it? And who will do that? But, I don't need agreement from others to do that. And the car will still work fine without their agreement. And so what I'm doing here, just like what I'm doing and sharing, I don't need their agreement. And on the world stage, when it comes to coins or whatever, a reference into anything, I don't need their agreement. I can do it anyhow. You see? Any of us can step up and take the risk. And when you do, and if it's real and your intent is there and your heart is there, then the boys will be with you and watch what happens. Yeah, take on the adventure. So again, I'm not saying it's going to be so, because the biggest thing is it's not what I'm deciding. The biggest part of it is, yes, agreement. And Bitcoin is just simply agreement. It's not the mechanics of Bitcoin. It's not the paper money that's passed around, because we've seen, as an example, the monetary system come and go. Remember the Confederate dollars? Remember the continental dollars? Prior to the so-called establishment and real takeover of what we call the United States by the bankers, etc. Well, people carried wheelbarrows of them. And what do they do in Africa? In Kenya and whatever, the Kenya money, etc. Look at the
Zimbabwe.
difference. Yeah, look at the difference. And so again, what is it really? It's agreement. But when you have something real, like a real seed, and you plant it in the ground, and a real plant comes out according to what we call nature. We'll just use that idea, not something synthetic or created. You know what? That shows real value, doesn't it? It shows something real. But in today's world, even the farmers are afraid not to use GMO. They're afraid not to use pesticides, etc. Very few are. And even the ones, and I read articles many years ago to where there can be one farmer in a community not using pesticides, and all the other farmers look down upon him. Kind of like the cafe scene where he walks in and has his cup of coffee in the morning and everybody's in there, and all of a sudden the place goes silent. Something like that. This is how funny people are, but yet this individual is doing it. I see the value in that one person. And I see that just like the race between the rabbit and the hare superseding everything. But you got to be patient, and you've got to learn to be real and be focused. Can you do it? Yeah, so there is the very few that will really see the universal community that's being created on the earth for those individuals that are real and will step up. Yeah, so again, it's not in numbers, it's not agreeing to the systems, but yet working with the systems and giving them a chance also. But if they want to go to their dead-end position, fine. So yeah, we got the thrills right now. We see it. Things go up and down. Is history any gauge at all of what the one-dimensional people do on this planet? I would say it is, even though it's mainly distorted. And that is that what you're living right now is you're living history, and it's already passed you by. You're just not seeing it yet. So we can do better. We are doing better. And as you focus on what is taking place with the real guides and what is being presented here, we do make sense. We really do. And our real value, just on the earth alone with what I'm presenting, has more value than gold. It really does. But who can see it? I see it. I'll take what I know as opposed to having all the gold in the world to do what with? Gold is worthless to me. I see the value in each person, like yourself and whatever. You're a free being of real light. That's what I see. Yeah, thank you, Charles. No, it's wonderful. Thank you. Bring more questions and whatever, because there's a lot to activate here in the world, and especially, again, I'll say it for the third time, about the Africans and who I introduced you to, because they're going to be showing up things are going to happen. They are happening. There's great resistance, but it will happen. And so, yeah, thank you for being there. Be part of the adventure like everyone, because Africa is huge. And realistically, Africa needs a lot of help. So we help them out, and then they step up and support us. We support them. This is where everybody does their part, and it all works a lot better. Love the challenge. So, yes, thank you. Just getting it done, you get so focused on things, but, come the day. But I've been in this house, as one example, as one part of the process, 11 years. And I do it because I want to see this succeed. And so I haven't left. I don't go on vacations. I'm on Huntington Beach. I'm fine with everything. So the thing is that I just want to see this succeed. And I see all the steps that it takes. And there's always more. There's always more and more and more. I don't take it for granted. And it's always like I'm at the beginning. And so this is where I stick it out to do this. And yeah, it is painful. Sometimes I can't even walk. But it's okay. I get up and I just keep doing it because I see this is very important. And I'm very grateful for all of you showing up and supporting, because it's really all for you. It's all for all of us. It really is, because we see what's going on this planet and the whole of life, and we got to get through this or we don't. And so taking on the challenge is huge. Thank you, people, for stepping up, because I'll tell you, since Kelsey decided to do this, she did this on her own and paid for the books. It was a little bit of a surprise for me, but I see the value in it. It is so cool to have the books. It really is. So especially in the big hardbacks, and just those pictures alone, they can say a lot to the world. Yeah, I would suggest get the books and present them to the world. Yeah. Yes, thank you. And this new one, Ava and I just finished. It's 40 pages with the real guides. And going over specifics with them, I wanted to create this particular book. Ava and I are going to create a lot of books, just like we have the new kids books. And there's 2 versions. It's 1 through 3, which is something you can present out there into the world. And then there's 1 through 6. Which takes it a lot further. So we created those, Ava and I, and it's about, I'm guessing, 80 pages or something like that right now. We created all this in different ways for people to have a visual, and they're really fun. And just to have the books is a real presence themselves. It really is, like nothing else, because life is backing everything that we're presenting to the world, and especially Rivazar and the real boys. It's so cool to be able to recognize this. So, yeah, thank you, Henry. We'll take care of it. Kelsey knows this. She's a little genius. We'll take care of this. And so it all adds up to the Universal University, the homeschool, etc. That's the start of the university, and then the vessel projects, etc. In the meantime, we're doing the concerts and what have you. Val and Kelsey and I are setting these things up now here in California, and we're doing meetups also. So we're doing the baby steps into the bigger picture. But the boys are not stopping. This is their adventure. They love it. They love the challenge. And so, like I've said, we're dealing with even galactic stuff like the Queen of Orion and all these other things that are part of it, because it all impacts the Earth. And so we're doing our part, but at the same time, huge resistance. And so let's see who steps up and has the courage to do so to get through this, because the boys are not stopping. We decide what we do. I'm not stopping either, because I love the challenge and adventure. And so, yeah, it is painful, Charles, but it's worth it. So, yeah, thank you.